My name is Philip, and I'm checking in to Creator Waves.
How did um Volksgeist, how did that come about?
Well, it's about 5 years now. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to start a YouTube channel where I could kind of like practice writing and do a little bit of video editing because I wasn't going to college or anything. So I needed to get some skills. So I thought I would just practice doing video edits and stuff. And I really liked it. My first few videos were terrible and they took months for me to make. It was just the slowest process ever.
What was you
But
using
after
for
about a year or
program?
two,
What program?
oh, the program was, it was Adobe Premiere to start. And then I started to get into the After Effects a little bit as well.
Okay.
So it was really just, I just thought it was like a personal project that no one would ever really see. But after about a year, the video started to get views, and I was like, "Oh, I should keep doing this. Maybe one day I'll make money off of it."
Yeah. Um what was the video that you did where you was like, okay, I need to keep doing this? Like on a personal,
I'm
so basically like in terms of the feedback you got, but then also in terms of the feedback you got internally, like the feeling you got from after you created it, and you was like, this feels, the process of me putting this together feels so good that I need to continue doing this.
I had about 5,000 subscribers after 2 years, and I was making this video about Anthony Fantano, the music critic, and I was like, he had just given a 10 out of 10 review, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to find out what are his favorite albums. I'm going to talk about his favorite albums. And that video got like 300,000 views. I got like 10,000 subscribers overnight. And I was like, oh, if I could do this on every video, I would just be set. Like my life would be great if I did this if I could just get 300,000 on every video. And then I just kept doing it and things started to go from there. And that was when I was like, oh, I can actually say things that people want to hear. And I would hate at the time. People would comment. They hated my voice. They hated my video editing. They thought I had nothing to say. But it was with that video where people actually started to get interested in the ideas that I was saying. And I was like, okay, I could just keep doing this.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's almost like you were able to just see what was going right with that particular video as well, and that pretty much gave you the feedback to say, okay, someone is gravitating towards this, or like a certain amount of people are gravitating towards this. So that's probably, is that what made you think, okay, there's even more I can do? Like this is just a like fraction of what I can even do.
Yeah, because it's easy if you get a viral hit to just do that again and again. So I was like, I'll just keep doing this sort of video. And then it was easy from there. But if I hadn't had that video, I probably would have just given up on YouTube. And I didn't know it was around the corner. But if I was close to getting bored of YouTube because I wasn't making any money off of it. But it was with that video, I was like, oh, I could actually do something here. Like this could be a whole brand or a whole company. If I keep making these videos.
Yeah. Why the name?
Well, I was looking for names, and like the word zeitgeist.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a word that people know, and I wanted it to be zeitgeist. But I could, like, everyone already knows that word. Like it's a big word.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, like Volksgeist is like a synonym. It's like the spirit of the people. And I thought, okay, like music is popular, so music is the spirit of the people.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, it's true. It's like the first time I saw the name, it did feel like almost like a movement. It represented
Yeah.
like a movement, like a movement that where people believe in, where people like have opinions on certain ideas or themes that they're passionate about. Like that's the vibe I got from the name when I first saw it.
It really is all about just when I make a video, I want the video to reflect what a lot of people feel, and I want a lot of people to see it and think I feel that same way too. And I want everyone to like, feel that I'm representing how they feel about music and stuff like that. The only downside is a lot of people think Volksgeist is my name, or they think that it's like means like I'm from Germany or something.
Yeah.
And neither of those things are true. So it's like sometimes I think about just changing it to my name, like Philip or something.
I think it's almost like you have two. It's like a different identity. It's like it's like another name that you can kind of live behind. And when
Pretty
you
much.
figure out what your actual name is, it's like, whoa, your name is not Volksgeist. Your
Yeah.
last name is not Volksgeist. So
Yeah, it's not. People call me people. A lot of people call me like Philip Volksgeist, and I'm like, that's not.
It's like Magic Johnson. His name isn't. He changed his name legally to Magic, but his original name was Irvin.
Yeah.
So it's almost like now you've given people the license to like give you another name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem is most Americans can't pronounce it.
Really?
So like Americans are like, who's that Volksgist guy? Who's the Volksgeist?
Yeah.
So
It can be a tongue twister if you haven't seen, if you haven't like come across similar types of words, because I know in Europe that's something people come across, that wording is something people come across a lot. Is that, yeah, you even said Germany. You said that people thought you was from Germany.
yeah.
People come across in Europe. That's something that people come across quite a lot. So
Yeah.
what challenges did you have as you were growing it, as you were putting out more videos, as you were like analyzing different ideas and stuff?
I think the whole process of getting where I am now has been a big struggle. Like, obviously being a YouTuber is pretty easy, but like it was really hard to learn. A lot of people hated me at first because I was pretty shy. So all my old videos, the audio isn't very good. I'm kind of quiet, and people would be like hate me. Like they send me messages and stuff and be like, you're really terrible. Like you should stop doing this. And then that was the big thing of me being like, should I listen to the strangers or should I just listen to myself? And I don't get a lot of hate anymore, probably because I'm more outgoing. But I used to get videos that would go really viral, like 1 million views, but I didn't like it because everyone would hate it. And so like, I would be like, why is anyone even watching this? And so now I have like much more chill audience. Okay, I get like 100,000 views, but everyone's really nice.
So they would hate it because it got 1 million.
Well, they would hate it because they didn't like me.
Oh, they didn't like you. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like, I was like, everyone's just watching this because they don't like it. They're just watching it because they want to see me fail.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like it's much more easy to go on camera and like be outgoing.
Yeah.
Another big thing was like, yeah.
No, go on.
I just, the other big thing was just, it's hard to learn everything on the go. I didn't have any training. So it was all my first time doing anything.
I feel like that's the best way to learn.
I'm definitely glad I did it that way.
You learn through trial and error. You learn through experimenting with different things, and you aren't going by a rule book. You're
Yeah.
not going by like specific steps. You created your own steps, and through the mistakes you made or through different challenges you came across, you were able to like build your style, and mold your process through that as well. So I think that's the
A
beauty
lot
of
of
it.
a few of the other YouTubers in my scene are went to school for video or went to school for media or something like that. But the ones that I respect the most learned how to do videos while they were working at Starbucks, and they
Mm,
were doing two at the same time. And
yeah,
that's when you have to solve problems yourself. You're not learning through a
yeah,
classroom or anything. Like everything just seems much more real and
yeah.
all that.
And like the job you're doing is like the opposite of what you're doing. So it's almost you learning how to do um, editing and um, just putting together videos is like an outlet from, for example, from working at a Starbucks. That's like your
Yeah.
outlet to like release tension and stress that you might have gotten whilst you're doing a job that you may or may not like. So I get why you're saying those guys that did it in that way, they like flourished because they use that as a way to like have an outlet to just release stress and energy that wasn't like helping them in whatever way.
Yeah, and I think the style just becomes much more unique. If you learn how to do art at school, some people will be really good, but a lot of people will just look like their school. Their style won't look all that unique, you know.
Yeah. So who are some of your favorites?
For YouTube,
Hmm.
well, I really like anything to do with just teaching things and like documentaries. So I watch a lot of Real Engineering. It's this YouTube channel by an Irish guy who's a friend of mine, and I don't know
Called
anything
what?
about engineering.
Real.
Sorry,
It's called Real Engineering.
Real Engineering. Yeah,
Okay. REAL Engineering.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know anything about engineering or planes or anything like that, but he does these documentaries about making planes and stuff. And I just think that the production value is a big inspiration because it's just him and a couple people, but they make these like, they could be like movies or something. And I love those. I also watch a lot of stuff that isn't to do with video essays. And so I'll watch a lot of like photography, like nature documentary stuff on YouTube.
Okay.
There's this guy, Serr, and he lives in Los Angeles. So he's like a photographer and makes these little like documentary type things about his photos. And it's just like if something has a good craft to it, or if it's like different from the rest, I'm willing to watch it because a lot of YouTube is very much like sell you things, promote products, sponsorships. Like there's a reason I only work with like two sponsors because I don't want to have different products on my channel all the time. Like that's not, it just takes away from the value of the work if you're always trying to sell like a video game or a mobile this or gambling like clothes. Like that just doesn't make sense. Like I'll watch anything that's not designed to sell products basically.
That's not like a NASCAR jacket. The NASCAR
Yeah.
jacket has all of these different brands and sponsors on. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So do you like content where it sparks a conversation as well, where it makes you want to maybe add something to it, but just you're not necessarily in a way where um, it's making you actually add your own take to it whilst you're watching it, or it's making you think about the actual topic in a deeper way.
Sort of. I think vlogging, like there's a lot of vloggers who say things to be like controversial. And I think sometimes like there's like vloggers that want to be like Kanye,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And everyone wants to say stuff, but I think with YouTube especially, we all think that we have these opinions that no one else has thought of before. But like I know that I'm not like that smart, you know. I can make a good video, but I'm not gonna come up with stupid ideas and tell everybody my stupid idea like no one's ever heard it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's actually better for me to watch things that I don't want to comment on. I don't like vlogs where people go up on the street and like talk to strangers because I'm like, I'm just watching two people that are just as smart as me. I'm not that smart. Like, why would I want to? I think it's better to get ideas from people who actually know what they're talking about. So I try to see YouTube as more like an artistic outlet than a place to discuss important topics for me personally.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, would you see yourself more as an explorer than an expert?
Yeah, I think I try to always put into my videos that I'm just saying my personal opinion on stuff. And I kind of want to do that more. Like, I don't want to do so much as the video essay as more just like talking about how music has changed me and been important to me. Because my main motivation for talking about music is because music is my number one art form. I feel like there are a lot of musicians who I look up to, and not as people, but their music, you know, songwriting and creativity. Like who?
Yeah.
I want to do right now. I want to do a video essay talking about Lil Baby. I listen to Lil Baby all the time, and I started to think, oh, this guy is like a genius, because everyone just sees him as a regular rapper who makes hit songs. But I started to see, like, in every song, he puts in these lyrics that are like really deep to like what he cares about and his values. Like his value, he's a very like moralistic person.
Prince, he's like a principle-driven artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people don't think that because he's got like a southern, like Georgia accent, and he smokes a lot of weed,
Yeah.
and like he's always on camera with like money and jewels. But if you listen to what he says, he only got to the point where he is by being really driven and smart and all these things. I'm like, I need to make a video about this because no one ever thinks about this.
Yeah, it's true. It's like they just see the presentation that he gives off, but they don't see the internal things going inside of him, inside of his head. But I compare him to like, to me, I compare him to Wayne a lot because I feel like Wayne had at one point Wayne had a stigma of just being just a rapper, a gimmick rapper, but then he eventually evolved into someone whose lyricism was respected when he was going when he was rapping over different people's beats, putting out different mixtapes with like Drama and Khaled, and throughout that whole period, then he transformed himself, you know. So I think Lil Baby has a lot of what Wayne grew into. Like,
I remember as
he's saying a lot of things that people care about, but he's doing it in a way that is digestible enough to where you could play it in the club, or you could play it. You don't have to be in your room dissecting it.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't done a video yet, because I think most people who are watching my videos are always in their rooms dissecting things, so they don't listen to Lil Baby. But I remember when I was a little kid, I remember people around me would be like, "Oh yeah, Lil Wayne, like he's a bad rapper, like he's not a good one, but now he's like one of the greatest ever." And I see Lil Baby is like a Jay-Z too, where maybe one day he'll,
From what perspective?
like maybe one day in like 10 years, he'll have made so much music that he is just a businessman.
Okay. Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, he just got so rich, he didn't need to make music anymore, and then he's just famous forever because he's like a billionaire or something like that.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he evolves. He had a crazy 2020 as well.
Yeah, he's been big for a while now. I think I first started listening to him in 2018 or 2017, right before he had a Drake
Drip Too
feature.
Hard. I think Drip Too Hard is when I started paying attention. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
let me pay, let me pay
Hmm.
attention to this guy, you know, because him and Gunna were like, um, how can I explain it? Him and Gunna had the chemistry that Jada, Kiss, and Styles P had.
Yeah.
That's when they were going back and forth on tracks. That's
But
the
now
chemistry I saw them having.
Gunna is like more different direction. So now Lil Baby just does songs with Dirk all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they have that whole album, the Voice of the Heroes album, which no one talked about. I thought was really, really good.
Yeah.
I listened to that album like all the
I
time.
reckon they'll talk about it over time because I feel like even the Travis and Quavo collab album, forgot what that was called. Huncho Jack, so underrated.
It was pretty good. There were
Yeah,
good
it's
sounds, you know?
underrated. Yeah, it's really underrated. You know, songs like Best Man and like How You Feel. Some songs like that have really aged well, but people don't talk about it enough. I think people talk more about the 21 Savage and Offset one more.
I still listen to that all the time. I listen to that album like every week.
The Offset and 21 Savage one.
Yeah, that's without warning, right?
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the dog on the front. Yeah,
yeah.
that was a really good one. So you said your favorite artist. I think we talk about your favorite artist. You said Lil Baby. So is there anyone else that is like that has inspired you over the last
Um,
year or two?
yeah, Central C.
Central C.
I think he's a really good rapper. And there's a few more. Like I listened to Pop Smoke for like 2 years straight. I didn't listen to anything else.
You know what? You know what I loved at the end of 2019, right? I loved the Jack Boys.
Yeah,
Ah, so, I don't think it doesn't get talked about enough, but I think obviously there were songs like Out West that did what it did on TikTok and stuff, but um, like What to Do.
yeah, that's a great song.
That's like that was like the time. I feel like that's where Don Toliver was like, I can go on hooks. I can do the verses. Like he showcased his skill.
Yeah, and his latest album was pretty good.
What was it? Heaven or Hell.
No, I think it was after that, right? It's the one with the red album cover.
Oh, that one. Life of a Don. Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one is incredible.
The producers are really good on that one.
Yeah, yeah, that one is
And
incredible. I haven't skipped a song. I don't think I've skipped a song from that one.
there's one more artist. Have you listened to Boldy James at all?
No, no.
You got to listen to Boldy James. He's from New York. Really good. He's it's lesser known though. He's in his 40s, I think, and he just started making music a couple years ago.
How'd you spell his name?
It's Boldy. I can type it in the chat here.
Oh yeah. That's cool. What about 070 Shake?
Oh, she's
That's
pretty good. I think
that is
she's
that
not
is,
like my favorite.
not your favorite. That's an artist where she's been one of my favorite artists since 2020. Like the album she put out in 2020, I love that. and then the new one she put out just recently in June. Love that as well.
I listened to
I
it.
actually
It
went to
was
go
good.
see her in 2020. That was the only show I went to before the pandemic hit in January
Yeah,
2020. Yeah. But,
I
of
didn't go.
course,
I just went.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I just went to my first show since COVID. I saw Freddie Gibbs.
Oh, really?
He was
How was
pretty
it?
good. He got beat up the day before, so he was wearing a mask, so you couldn't see.
That guy is a comedian.
Yeah, well, maybe too funny.
He's a troll. He's like a classic. He knows how to get under people's skin.
Yeah.
He knows how to do that. When you're putting together like a video essay, does 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 it tend to write itself, or is it a matter of taking the time to craft the ideas and structure it, or do you have certain topics where it just comes to you, like most of the ideas just come to you at once, and you can just Jay-Z it and just just do it without taking much time to craft it.
Well, I think it's kind of so. I have like a couple checklists. I have a checklist with three boxes that I have to do. So if I'm making, let's say I'm making Understanding a Whole Lot of Red by Playboi Carti.
Mm-hmm.
There's three boxes. I need to tell the story of the album. So like, why does this album exist? Where did it come from? I need to come up with a thesis. So like, is this a classic or is it not a classic? And I also need to come up with some sort of musical,
Analysis.
more, not musical analysis, but like a musical
Reasoning.
sociology to it, like a musical sociology. So it would be like, what did this album do? For like Whole Lot of Red, which
Culturally, what it is. What?
like culturally, yeah. So culturally, like a sociology, like a Whole Lot of Red created like a new wave of production. So like I want to tell the story of that, because it was really popular among like teenagers. Like that was like a high school like teenagers album. Um,
Yes.
and I remember like here in New York City, there were kids that were doing like underground raves with Whole Lot of Red. So they would just freak out and rave to Whole Lot of Red for like hours, like all night. And they were doing it in public too. So like I want to talk about that sort of stuff. And I always want Volksgeist to be something that I can like go, not just a Wikipedia article. Like this is something I want to like say things that only I know about because of my own experience and stuff like that.
So it's like a more personable. You're giving your own. You're giving like a personable take.
Yeah, in a way that a lot of people will relate to,
Yeah.
even if it's just something as simple as like talking about how there was TikTok trends or, that sort of thing. So
Or like how you was feeling when it came out, what you like, stuff like that, what you was doing. So another thing is like, are you doing certain topics based on what you're generally interested in, or are you doing topics that are a big talking point at that particular time? Like, how do you balance doing things? How do you balance doing things that generally you care about versus what is the topic at the time? And
right.
from that we can talk about Kanye and Drake and how Kanye would give us albums that he generally wants to put out versus Drake, who has to really meet everyone else's needs on most of his albums. So we can talk about it after that.
Sure. So a couple recent videos I did Understanding Young Lean. So for me, I've been listening to Young Lean since I was 14 years old. So I have like so many memories. All my teenage years, Young Lean was the soundtrack of how I was feeling and everything. And I was there for all those Sad Boys days when he was getting the Travis Scott features and when he was doing tours in America, everything. But at the same time, Young Lean had just come back into the public eye when I made that video. So I thought, like, it's half trend, half me. And there's some trends I never want to interact with. Like, you remember 3 years ago, there was like Lil Xan and Lil Skies and all these shitty rappers. Like, they sucked.
Yeah.
And they had one big song and then they never showed up again. And everyone would tell me, talk about Lil Xan, talk about Lil Skies. And I'm like, what am I going to say? These guys don't come from anywhere. They don't have any influence. They don't, like, their music is just the most uncreative, very low effort. There's no concepts to this stuff. So I never talked about all that SoundCloud stuff or all, like, I even don't talk about a lot of drill rap because I don't have a personal connection. Like, there's some drill rappers I really like. I really like Lil Durk. I really like Pop Smoke. I love a lot of the New York drill. Like, I know all about like 22 G's, 5-Yo, like, but again, that's like, I kind of know some people who know them and I live in New York, but like, people want me to cover like things that are happening in Chicago. And I'm like, that's just really weird because I don't go to Chicago. It's all like, drill is like in-person music, you know, like they're doing things in real life and then they rap about it. And I'm not like yeah, like I'm not going to create Volksgeist to be like a zoo where I'm like, and here's Lil Durk over here and look at, he shot 50 people and he's the baddest of them all. I'm like, well, this isn't like a museum exhibit. Like, if I don't have a relation to it, I can't, you know, pretend to care. So,
you can't,
and that was another, then I'll choose like some topics. Like, I made the video, is Tyler new Kanye? And I knew that would get a lot of hate.
I love that one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I wanted it to make it a good video. But that topic was also, I got the idea because it was trending on Twitter because people were arguing about it. And so I was like, okay, I'll make a video about this. But I don't mind talking about that. But I'm never going to glorify things that I don't understand or anything like that.
Just based on just the fact that they're popular. So I have to do this because that's what people are talking about. But if it generally doesn't excite you or ignite interest, then what's the point, right?
It's just, you know, I just think of it as like, it's my show, you know? So if I let someone else's interest get into it, then it's not really my show anymore. And eventually, if I do it enough, people won't be as interested because they'll know I'm not that interested. So I just kind of try to keep it true to me.
Yeah. So what do you think about the different strategies that Kanye and Drake have when it comes to albums?
Well, I actually thought
Kanye will abandon the previous sound on his previous album, go into a whole other direction, not really worrying about the initial backlash. Because in his mind, he's thinking, okay, I'm taking you on a journey, so you'll get it in a few years. Like, your life experiences will catch up with my album, and you'll get it. Drake is kind of like the ultimate curator of this generation. So I feel like because of that, he has to meet so many people's needs on albums. That's why you saw him on Scorpion. Even on the album description, did you see the message he put? It's just so evident that he's having to meet so many people's needs, and that's compromising his, like, I think that's compromising the quality control of the albums as well, because he's keeping certain songs on the album that he could just take out. If you don't want it there, take it out. You know? What do you think about it?
I thought that Kanye's last album, Donda 2, was really, really bad.
Okay.
Donda 2?
Oh, Donda 2.
Bad.
Oh, yeah. Donda 2.
Donda 2.
I didn't hear that much.
Donda 2 is really bad. It's a bad album. There's not that much on it. A lot of the songs aren't finished. He's never really going to finish them, I think. But Drake kind of Honestly, Nevermind is a really bad album.
You didn't like it. You don't like it.
His singing, I really love house music. I listen to a lot of house music all the time, like house mixes, like old '90s house. But there's nothing going on. Like Drake's singing is really bad. He doesn't put a lot of effort into the vocals. The songwriting is bad. He's just not really saying much. And I think, you know, Drake's kind of, as far as I'm concerned, he's kind of done. Like he's probably never going to make a good album again. Because Scorpion, Certified Lover Boy, this like three really bad albums in a row it's a lot.
Do you think Drake is just not sure what else he can do, like musically anymore? It's like, what else can he create at this point? Do you think
I
he's
think
like? Do you think he's confused? Like, what direction do I go into now? Like, I gave you a double album. I'm singing on one side. I'm rapping on one side. I gave you that. So I think he might be confused. Like, what else can I do musically now?
well, Drake doesn't really, as far as I'm concerned, Drake doesn't really rap about anything. Even on his best rap songs, he doesn't rap about anything except having his business and his house and like friends. And when he sings, he doesn't rap about anything because he doesn't love any woman. Like he's not married, he's not in relationships. He just sings at women, and these R&B songs are just addressed to like women that don't exist. And I think as far as Drake's life goes, he had a kid with someone he didn't know, and like he doesn't live with his kid. He lives in a big mansion in Toronto and like plays basketball all day. You can't make anything that good out of that. When I was talking about like Lil Baby is so good because Lil Baby still lives in Atlanta and is around all of his family and provides for his kids. And like when you're around your home, you're much more. Drake's just out there, you know. He doesn't. He's just hanging out all the time.
He's
And
living the traditional rap superstar lifestyle. Like he's courtside at games.
Yeah,
He's dating the R&B singers. Yeah. So when you compare that to someone like Kendrick or Cole, who are like more private, they for the most part they take what Kendrick does, but they take a bit more time to put out music. I always thought that Drake was a little conflicted because I felt like his goal, as he came into the game, his goal was to be the hottest every year. So, which I think every other year he kind of achieved. Like, I think outside of like maybe 2010, 2017, maybe 2015. So I give 2010 to Kanye. I give 2015 to Future. I give 2017 to Kendrick. I think every other year outside of that, he was probably the hottest or top three. So I just feel like his goal was to be the hottest every year. So I feel like that's compromised the quality of his albums a little bit because he's not willing to take more time in between albums to like craft something that can live on for like a long period of time. I feel like I think he treats his albums like playlists now.
yeah. This one is just bad. And Certified Lover Boy was pretty bad too.
Well,
I didn't like it at
you
all.
didn't like any song on this new one.
No, I like three songs,
Which one?
but there's 14 tracks.
Yeah.
Like 3 out of 14 is not enough. I'll never listen to it all. Like I'll never listen to the whole thing again.
Yeah.
And I don't know who will, right? Like, will that even? It'll go to number one because nothing else came out this week.
It'll go. It will.
But
I think it might do like between 210 and 230 first week.
yeah, yeah.
Between that, it might do that.
I just think maybe like house music can be really beautiful,
Yeah.
but none of the stuff on the album was beautiful. The instrumentals were really basic.
What were the songs you liked?
I liked Sticky and A Keeper,
I keep
and then Massive.
massive.
Those three were good.
Okay, the ones I liked Flights Booked,
Mm.
Currents, and Downhill. I feel like everyone I've spoken to has their own 3 to 5 songs that they like. So it's possible that this album could maybe age better over time. It's possible.
Maybe, yeah, because that's a dance album, and I was listening to it with headphones on.
Yeah. So it might. Yeah. Did you like Views?
Yeah, I thought Views is good. I'll still go back to that sometime.
Yeah. Because Views
I
got
thought
that
Views is good.
bridge.
Yeah, I did. I
About
remember that.
16.
More Life, I think, is good too. I still
More
listen to
life.
that a lot.
More life. This is the thing, right? I feel like Drake is in his mind. He's thinking, okay, you know what? I think Drake is. He might be afraid of not putting out an album where he's not singing.
Maybe, yeah.
I feel like at this point he has to do both on every album he puts out. He has to sing and he has to rap. Because if he puts out a singing album, the people that want him to just rap are like, what is this? And then the people that like the more melodic might say, we need more. We need more melodic on an album where he might be rapping more. So see, this is the problem is that he's meeting too many people's needs. This is the issue.
Yeah.
He's not
He's too
saying,
much.
okay, I'm creating an album for me. Like, you're already artist of the decade at this point. I feel like he should be more selfish. Kendrick was selfish on this album he put out. He said, I'm putting out an album that I want to put out regardless. And it's a good album. Did you like that album?
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
yeah. But there's certain people that are like, oh, it's too heavy. Which I think it's heavier than Damn. Damn is probably his most digestible album. But this is still a good album. But this is Kendrick doing an album that he wanted to put out. And I think Drake needs to get to that point.
I just thought
He's already solidified,
for
so nothing should be stopping him from just saying, look, I'm just going to put an album out that I want to put out. I'm going to craft it. And that's it. Kanye's been
for
doing
Kendrick,
that from the beginning. So Kanye's
Yeah.
been doing that so we'll see.
for Kendrick, I was like, the heavier the better, man. Like people don't know how hard it is to make something serious and to make it good.
Mm,
Like Kendrick is a genius for making it work. That's a really serious and dark piece of music.
that is true. That is true. That's very true. I'm seeing him in November.
Oh, that's awesome. I haven't bought a ticket.
Baby Keem is
I
open.
want to go though. Okay, Baby Keem, man. Baby Keem's the best.
Oh, I like Baby. Did you like the Melodic Blue?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
What's your favorite? What's some of your favorite tracks from
I think probably 16. Is that the last one?
16? Okay. You know
Yeah.
what 16 reminds me of? 16
Is it Tame
reminds me
Impala?
of Feel No Ways by Drake.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, he's great. Baby Keem is just different. Like he's just creative. He's like a creative guy, you know?
Yeah, like I like Issues. I like Lost Souls. I like 16 as well. You can hear it. You can hear the Airway and Heartbreaks influence. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy how like in 2000. How old was you in 2008?
8.
Yeah.
So I was 8.
Oh, you you was 8. Okay. Damn, you was 8 in '08 when AOA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't listening to it back then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, cause I was 15 when it came out, but I saw a lot of the backlash she got, and then over time, as more artists started to get influenced by it, as Drake, when Drake came out, So Far Gone, he was influenced by that. When Frank Ocean put out Nostalgia Ultra, you had some Airways influences. Weekend, when all of these guys start, when it's over time, then you started seeing people saying, "Oh, it's a classic. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that." And we get to 2021, Melodic Blue comes out, and he samples I think he sampled Amazing on one of the songs, and I think he sampled Love Lockdown as well. But you can see it's still the test of time. It stood the test of time. So I feel like, what do you think about artists making albums in a way where they're taking their fans on a journey rather than trying to meet the current needs of those fans?
Well, if you really look at classics, that's all the classics are like that. All the classics are a journey, you know? Like, all of Kendrick's albums are a journey. Good Kid, Mad City is like a journey. Like, you know, The Life of Pablo is like a journey.
That's like a roller coaster journey. That's like a up and down. That was a playlist type album before More Life that people don't really.
Mm-hmm. So you got to have a journey. I just think a lot of albums now are just songs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the mainstream, the big rap albums, like, you know, like 4-2 Doug and like,
yeah,
like those guys can make good albums, or they can make good songs, but their albums aren't that great. You know, there's just no conceptual narrative. There's no story that the thing is following, you know. It's okay, but I'd rather listen to, you know, even like 21 Savage is a great rapper, but he hasn't made a good album yet.
Who do you think are like the album artists of this generation?
Probably like Baby Keem will be.
Baby Keem.
I don't know if there are any other great ones coming up right now.
Oh, I think Don Toliver.
He could be.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's anyone else
Baby
like
Keem is
coming up on the way.
Yeah. Baby Keem is just so mature already.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he already like understands the importance of melodies. He already has vision. He's already a visual artist. He knows how to perform. He knows how to use his voice in different ways as well. He's good at features.
He's very, very good.
To see certain artists come into the game already a package, like already have an all-around game. We're starting to see that with some artists. What about the artists that debuted last decade? Who would you say are the album artists from that period?
Who are my choices? Like, I don't know if I can think of.
I think I would say the names in my head: Kendrick,
Yeah,
Tyler,
sure.
Travis. Because to me, Travis doesn't have.
Okay, Travis. Sometimes I forget about Travis because he's been gone for so long.
Yeah, yeah. He needs to figure out a way to. It's a tough situation now, but I think once he gets through it, he can just continue pointing out.
It would be nice if he came back, but no, he hasn't.
He hasn't. What's your favorite Travis album?
Oh, it has to be. Well, I want to say Rodeo because I've been listening to that since high school. But I also want to say Astroworld because it's just really, really, really good.
You know, my favorite is Birds.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people like Birds.
Birds is so cohesive. People don't realize. I know. Okay, Rodeo is cohesive because Ti does the narration throughout the whole album, like Common did on Man on the Moon. So that is cohesive, but Furs is just so sonically it's so cohesive. Like it didn't need a narrator. That's why I think that's my favorite Travis album.
I do like some of the songs on Birds, but I don't listen to it much anymore.
Mm, okay. What other eyes? Album eyes from so those Kendrick, Tyler. Oh, Childish Gambino.
Yeah, he's retired though.
Officially?
No, but like low key, he's retired.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but
His last album, no
the
one
album,
remembers he made
the
that.
album he put out in 2020, I like that.
It was good, but he didn't name the songs, so no one ever listened to it again.
Yeah, it's true. You know, it's gotten to the point now where I remember certain songs. I think there's a song called see, I can't remember it now, but it's different numbers. But that's a good album too.
It was good. I liked it.
070 Shake is like an album artist to me.
Yeah, I think she's good. I just think that her vocal mixing is a little bit too hard to hear for me. I put on a song and I can't necessarily hear it very easily for some reason.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. She's real. Sonics, like the Sonics, is real strong on her music.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's unique. You know, she's like the only one doing that, which I
But
respect a lot.
she is, and she's working with Mike Dean. So
Yeah, Mike. I got to do a video about Mike Dean.
you should.
Wow,
I
he's
feel like
great.
Mike Dean is like the silent scientist. That's just like, and his journey is so crazy as well. Like he started with, um, well, he started before that, but in terms of hip hop, Jay Prince's label and Rapper, he started with them. Um, then he was working with other people. Obviously, Kanye is like one of the main guys he was working with in like the 2000s, coming into the 2010s, and then you got people like Travis that he's working with as well. So his journey is crazy. That's
Yeah, I
why
hope he gets paid.
When the Larry Hoover concert happened, it was like a full circle moment because it was like he worked with he was at Jay Prince's label in the late 80s, and now you see him with Kanye and Jay Prince is there, so it was a full circle type moment.
Yeah, I hope he gets. I hope Mike Dean is getting rich because he's defines so much of what we listen to.
He definitely has. I feel like he's getting his credit now.
Yeah,
And I like the instrumental albums he's been putting out as well.
yeah, I've listened to a lot of the stuff he's done. It's all pretty good.
Yeah, I think we covered everything, pretty much everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah.